Hey everybody, welcome back to Ready Steady Play, where we've just finished playing the Paladins of the West Kingdom, as you can see from our layout here. And if you haven't checked out, go check out the gameplay, and we'll wait for you.
Yeah.
It's been a while, it's like 3-4 hours, isn't it?
So, we are going to now give our final thoughts on the game, and this is I was about to say Euro style, but I think it's sort of a hybrid, really, isn't it? It's a worker placement.
The vast majority of games these days are hybrids, aren't they?
Yeah, resource management, lots of card play. It's from Carfill Games, which is Shem Phillips' company. You may know them from the North Sea Viking series, or you may know them from the Architects of the West Kingdom, which is their first in this new West Kingdom series. This is the second game, and the third, Viscounts, has been or is on Kickstarter currently. And we've just finished playing Paladins, and now we're going to talk about it.
Yes.
Exactly. So I'm a big fan of Architects. I think we all gave it quite a positive review on the channel. Michael wasn't here for that, but Michael has played it.
But I have played it.
And I think you quite liked it as well.
I did. I actually beat you with something. Just. By a point, I think.
Yeah, I think I only won by... I won the channel. I think it was by 1 or 2 points, I think, as well, I think. Yeah, I've played Architect several times since playing on the channel. And I really like it. And
I think they're nice games.
Yeah.
It's, for me, but I find that things like this a struggle anyway, is just trying to work out what on earth to do the very first time.
Well, the thing about the games is that I often hear people talk about these games with reference to distinct strategies. And so I suppose there is a concept here that there are distinct strategic paths to follow. And because there are a lot of these distinct paths, then there are these many routes that you can go down. Mm-hmm. You know, and I guess until you sort of know the game a bit, you wouldn't really know you wouldn't be aware of them. Like, I'm not aware of any particular strategies for this. I'm actually thinking more about Architects, but I'd be surprised if it wasn't the same. Like, I've heard people talk about strategies in Architects. I don't actually know what they are, but people will say things like, oh yeah, there's something strategy.
Oh, yeah, I actually haven't delved into the conversation about these games enough to have heard these strategies. I
think Shim put some of them on the Kickstarter updates as well. He's like, oh, I'm doing a live playthrough tonight, I'm going to try this strategy in the game.
Huh.
You know, so I think they are sort of designed with the intention to have these particular different kinds of strategies in them. And my first reaction when I played this the first time was quite positive.
Mm-hmm. Not so now?
No, I think it is. I think it is still positive. I think I was interested to see whether not killing anything and not dealing with the outsiders would hamper me or benefit me, and it didn't. Cause me any issue. I do think that the way the workshops come out, I do think that the workshops are quite essential, really, actually. And the way they come out, you kind of have to sort of... You want to play the workshops as fast as possible, but once they're out, they kind of lock you into a strategic pursuit. So, you know, it is quite a sort of... I think it is the kind of game where you sort of around the sort of round 3 card, when you've got all these King's Orders out, you really want to be kind of locking yourself into a specific strategy.
Sure. By
way you've placed the workshops. Like, I didn't put any workshops on attack and convert in this game, and I never took those actions.
Yeah, I'm the same. I didn't do Commission or Resolve. I did Resolve once.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I didn't.
No, I just wish... it's because I didn't know what I was doing, genuinely. I was all over the shop, and I didn't really have a strategy to what I think I could do well, because I think you're just overwhelmed with what on earth you can do, and that's just my brain. It's like, oh, I don't know what to do, there's so many things, and that hindered me, because I was like, I didn't really have a plan until like round 3, and by round 3 it's too late. Because you're already then on the back foot. But yeah, I think these are very important.
Speaking of their importance, is there a King's Order that is to get 5 of them?
So you've got, what have we got? We've got
Convert 5.
Convert.
I wouldn't be surprised actually if it's just these 6 actions.
I don't think it'll be there. That's why I'm asking. I'm very surprised.
It's just these 6.
Yeah, because it would seem crazy powerful.
Commission. Oh yeah, and they're green.
Those are the favors, yeah. But did you find that having played it now, that you're keen to come back and try again and try something different?
Oh, I'd definitely play it again.
Yeah. So you weren't so sort of overwhelmed that you were put off the game?
No, I wasn't overwhelmed that I would put off the game. I think that's just me as a player. I just get overwhelmed.
Because I think 65 is a pretty respectable first score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just on the back foot because you two know what to do.
We've played before.
Don't. But yeah, it's by no means an embarrassing score. I was concerned in like round 2 that I'd be like, because I think you mentioned that you played it with Deborah, and Deborah got like 30. And
she just did not get it at all. She's beat me Architects, but she just did not get it for some reason.
Yeah.
I wonder if we scored something slightly wrong. I don't know. Maybe she wasn't giving herself.
So that was
strength and stuff.
That was worrying in the back of my mind. I was like, "Oh no, it's gonna be an embarrassing score." But yeah, it certainly didn't. I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the play through. It definitely hasn't put me off. I would definitely like to come try again.
Yeah, I think I really like it. I think it's quite enjoyable. I have a few criticisms, but overall I really like it. I'm interested to hear what you thought, because you said you thought there was one particular strategy that was quite overpowered. Is that right?
No, I didn't phrase like that. I was more careful with my words than that.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm checking. That's why I'm checking in with you. So what was it you were thinking?
I said that I thought there was one thing that had more potential for points than other things. Mm-hmm. I don't think I think that anymore. So what it was converting, because converting is the only thing that provides you with unique scoring opportunities.
Yeah.
But if you do this, therefore I was thinking, converting seems very powerful because it gives you these other the ways of scoring for other things, and if you can synergize that perfectly, then I feel that this is probably optimal. However, doing this is probably going to come at the expense of maybe maxing out a track. Right? You converted nobody and you maxed out a track. And that's a huch difference. That's just 2 spaces, but it's 7 points.
Yeah.
And I only got 10 points for all 4 of these cards, and I got more. When I played the last time, I maxed out this, and I had a lot of points. Mm-hmm. I think I had like 20 or something, or 25. It was a lot. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that anymore. I think that was kind of a first game syndrome thing. Also, converting was one of our king's orders, so it just made sense to convert. I was converting, so I converted quite early on. I was like, okay, now I have a person who scores this and that, so I'll start doing that more. But yeah.
Well, I found that these tracks are a really good way to get points. Yep. Having said that, all of these things kind of improve them, but originally I picked actually just 3 things, which was Fortify, Commission, and Absolve, and I was like, they each, and then I realized that the Fortify puts strength up. The problem is these 2 both benefited from influence, and what I really needed was, there's like sort of an optimal choice of 3 actions here in terms of what feeds in and what comes out, and they should have picked Convert instead of Fortify, but then the thing is, like, this is sort of influenced by the Paladins that you get, and when you get them, which gives you the free. So the Paladins give you these actions at a reduced cost. So there's sort of like all of these things, like the Paladins, and also these King's Favors, that kind of like force you to be reactive with your strategy to what you're doing on this side of the board. Because if you just lock in like which of these 3 ones you're going to focus on from the very beginning and just stay railroaded on that strategy, you're going to miss a lot of opportunities to achieve these and max out your profits from these. And actually I spent much of the second half of this game actually then going into Garrison and just figuring out how I can get that track sorted out. And actually
cheese that Garrison.
Oh man, and I cheesed that Garrison. But then I actually wound up not taking the Absolve card, which could have actually really benefited me. I only took the Absolve action 4 times, despite putting 2 workshops on it. Which seems like a bit of a waste, but on the other hand, you also get workers and points for doing this.
But you maxed out the other 3 thing. Yeah, you did. You maxed out these 3.
Yeah.
You're exactly the same as me. I maxed out No, I didn't even.
I had something like around. I think I didn't start putting out garrisons till like round 5, and I suddenly got very focused on this prey action, and I was like looking
Prey
for
action
it.
is crucial.
I actually had to get my strength up to here on the final round by taking this action, so that I could grab that to do this one extra time.
I nearly took that off you.
Yeah,
I would have. I would have.
like,
It was one turn
turn.
away taking you from from you.
But I think the game does have a lot of that sort of. I mean, despite the fact you have all of your actions here on your player board, these actions and these spots are actually really potent, and there is an element of you took that thing. There's a bit of that, but it's not overwhelming. It's not as prevalent as it would be in a normal worker placement game, or another kind of worker placement game, perhaps. Mm-hmm. But this kind of like sort of worker placement optimization on your board here, with these kinds of player interaction boards up here, and then a little bit of tableau building, a little bit of endgame scoring stuff down here. It's a nice mixture with some player interaction and some optimization that it feels good in this configuration. Mm-hmm. And I like the little people management thing you've got going on down here with the workers as well, knowing when to pass the round and when to sort of put them all out. I find it quite compelling. There is, I think, for the sort of the die-hard optimizer, some elements of random chance, particularly in the walls and in the suspicion cards. Personally, I don't mind it. It doesn't really bother me, despite the fact that we were exclaiming during the playthrough.
But I think you got very jammy and then.
I mean,
times.
It could. I think it would only end up bothering somebody if they really got on the short end of the stick consistently throughout a game.
How many? I think I had 6 of these, and I think I had 4 blank.
I think it's fair to say. I think mine was pretty much average. I averaged out. Yeah. I think Michael was unlucky and Mike was lucky.
No, that's
overall.
That's not unusual. That's not uncommon, is it?
Yeah.
Positive attitude, man. It just generates luck. Can I say?
I don't think I was negative.
Cards say otherwise.
Curse you.
I think minor complaint is this track is very easy to knock.
Yeah, it is.
It's fairly easy to reset.
As you say, you can, apart from the ones you send off, you can.
Well, actually, even these ones were okay.
You could keep them in your own.
I took all 3 of the advances up here as well. That was all me because I was like, these tracks are super good for scoring. But also this one, then you have to remember if you did that.
That's the only one. Just like the guys you kill, you could also keep them in front of you face down.
It's true. If it was, and I think that's probably a good idea because it is quite easy to knock these, and they're super important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy it as well. I love worker placement. I especially like I really like when worker placement games have different types of workers who are required to do certain things. So different color workers. Mm-hmm. Anachrony does the same thing. Where I think in Anachrony anyone can go anywhere, but if you send the scientist to do the sciencey job and the engineer to the engineering job, I think you get a bonus. So it's not quite something, but I do really like when worker placements add that extra element of you need a trader to do this and you need a scout to do that. I do think I significantly enjoy Architects more than this though. Mm-hmm. I think this is significantly more complex.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't think its reward is It's proportional. It's proportional, yeah. I think.
But you think this is simpler than Architects?
Well, not now.
Okay, good. That's the other thing.
That's what I expected.
And it's not a dig at you, Michael. But my other complaint would be that there is like enormous amount of AP. This is a long game, and it shouldn't be. It feels like it shouldn't be.
It feels like it should be quite quick. I mean,
7 rounds.
Both times I've played this now, both once off camera and once here, we've played relatively quickly. I was playing against an opponent who's very fast, but I find generally, actually, as a general rule, playing faster is more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Because it's human errors as well that make it interesting, isn't it? Playing to
yeah, true. We should do that chess clock.
I've got the cube we used for the triple Century game. Michael and I played all 3 Century games in the final form, and we had a turn clock for that.
We used to have Sandtime we used to use sometimes. We used very long though. But I don't know when I'd ever play it instead of Architects.
That's an interesting. I mean, I think maybe if it was, I think I'm at 2 players. I think this is better.
Well,
because Architects I think is less interesting at 2.
I think this was a lot less interesting at 2. I think this was far more interesting with 3 as well. I think they both suffer from that. I mean, I played Architects at 2, 3, and 4, and I think Architects is always pretty good, but definitely worse with 2.
I think this scales down better. To 2 specifically.
I need to play it more times.
3 up, I think I like Architects a lot. What I like about Architects especially is that it's faster and it's easier to teach.
Much faster, much easier to teach. Yeah, definitely.
So I think that you are quite right about that. But having said that, I think that I do think I like this, and there are, I think, other games like Anachrony, for example, with the workers and the resource management. Anachrony obviously has this cool thing going on with the game flipping over halfway through, and you're sending, then the cataclysm happens.
I haven't played in so long. Flipping over halfway through.
Well, yeah, there's a cataclysm halfway through the term timer when that's the event that destroys the future.
Yes.
And it changes.
Doesn't that happen like after round 5 or something? I think.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
then
can't
also,
remember. What does it do? Oh, it destroys some of the. I can't remember.
And then you've got this mechanic where you're sending resources back in time that you have to pay forward, or you cause paradoxes that cause.
Which is actually quite similar to Dead insofar as it's actually good to create a time paradox and then fix it, right?
Sort of where I was going with this a bit, which was that there is, I think, quite a lot of commonalities between the 2, but I'd much rather teach someone this than Anachrony.
I think Anachrony is easier to teach. I genuinely do.
Do you?
Yeah, have you played Anachrony?
Yeah.
It's not that complex when you come down to it. It really isn't.
No, I don't know.
The Paladins. I think the problem with Paladins is not problem, but the problem for this particular issue is that Paladins presents itself as a very simple game. So people go into it like Michael did, expecting it to be far simpler than it was, and end up being overwhelmed. Whereas in Anachrony, you go in and think a bit more prepared.
Look at that, and you're like, yeah, okay.
I think that's
I'm getting into something here.
Like, I actually think I could be wrong. I think if I taught Michael Anachrony today, I think he would have been quicker off the mark playing Anachrony. We can test this theory. If you'd like to see us play Anachrony on the channel,
oh God, no, please.
Do you not like it?
No, I just don't want to make a rules and setup video for it.
It's really fun. I like that game.
If you want to see a rules and setup video for Anachrony, I can make that a funding goal on the Patreon. So leave a comment down below. But actually, I don't know. I think that yes, the game does look, because of the art style, I think, and the sort of cute little things, it does look lighter than it is. But I quite like the art style.
I love the art style.
And I think you can prepare someone for that. And I do think generally the iconography and the layout of things is generally very good.
Yeah, it's generally very good. There's a few little things, as we mentioned actually during our gameplay, that they could have made a bit nicer, like the plus sign, whereas it here would have been useful so that you don't think you can do 2 of them. The white worker spaces not having to be white workers.
I think maybe it being just hollow rather than opaque.
That was confusing for me. That was
just the outline and nothing else.
Yeah, that would have been good.
But for the most part, they did it well.
You think they need to be white?
Yes, that's what it looks like. That is what it looks like. Yeah, but for the most part, they did a really good job with the presentation, both in terms of getting information across and looking aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
I think the level of player interaction is probably on par with most worker placement games. There are some shared worker spaces, not many, fewer probably than most, but they're very powerful and very much in contention sometimes. And Architects is kind of the same thing, isn't it? Because most of the spaces actually are open free-for-all. It's only a very few number of spaces that are...
Did any of you guys take any of these other than this one?
Yes, I did. I took... Oh, and that one. Yeah. Oh, no, you're right. I took that one to get the workers.
I didn't take any.
Because I took this one twice, and I took this one, and that one, and that one.
That's why you won!
Clearly, it's just
But I don't know how, you always had more people than I did.
These things generating people.
Yeah, I that's what I lacked as well, a way to get people.
You did, even when I had a point where I was getting lots of people, and you still always seemed to have more than me. I think you just cheated.
It's because I was taking, it's because I put these out, like, straight away, and I had this person generating people off of that. So.
Yeah, I didn't have as much of an engine, so to speak.
Yeah, I think grabbing a bunch of these tradesfolks early game is quite useful.
You could win without that, though.
Well, you you have, what was your score? 70?
70, yeah.
I think that was my score the first time we played, and I had like 5 or 6 guys, and you had.
Yeah, but these guys worked to the bone. Like they were
super useful. That guy was super annoying. This architect was super annoying because she kept calling the Inquisition. She was the one stealing the taxes, and I had more debt than you.
Well, no, I had 5. I threw away 2.
I even had a spare wizard.
Was these guys let me do it? No, who let me do it? Yeah, I threw away 2 debts.
These are actually criminals. And I do actually like that the criminals steal bring with them money that's stolen from the taxes, which triggers an inquisition, which causes debt to come out. I think that's a really nice mechanic that's also really thematic.
It lends itself definitely to the theme of the game, 100%. It's quite well thought out.
It's less thematic that commissioning monks and making garrisons can get you workers, get you money, pay off debt, just get rid of conspiracy cards, do all sorts of things.
Because these are the townsfolk that are coming to your cause, you know?
Why is it clear work? Why does it give you a prey action?
Well, because they're out here working the fields, and you're like, get into the church and go pray. And then they're like, okay. And then you're like, you there, go work.
I'm surprised by how much work this game is, though. It does take a lot of like it says, a lot of AP, there's a lot of thinking, there's a lot of planning. It's I
think it has the potential for a lot of that. Like I said, both times we've played consciously very quickly and mitigated a lot of the worst of that. But if you're playing with people that can't or don't like playing quickly to mitigate that stuff, I think there's a real potential here for a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
So
I don't think I'd ever want to play this with 4 players.
No, I mean it mitigates some of the worst of it by having you all choose paladins at the same time, and also by doing action. Then again, it's still noticeable. So that's I think that's pretty indicative of the fact that it's quite high.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, the other thing is all the stuff we just said. I think there's a lot of replayability here, a lot of diverse strategies to try, and it's not an expensive game. It's like 35 quid.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Huge. It's a small box, and it's cheap.
Because £35 might be unaffordable for some people, but that doesn't mean it's objectively expensive within the sphere of board games, right? Mm-hmm. I think this is a reasonably priced board game, considering the value of the market, so to speak. I've paid a lot more and gotten a lot less stuff. And also just a worse experience.
There's a lot of wooden pieces in here. And it's a nice hard card.
We really praised Architects for this, and I think Paladins deserves the same. Yeah. That the fact the box is so damn small for a fantastically, meaty game. I feel very strangely unenthused about Paladins now after my second play, which is weird. I think it is only because I prefer Architects so much more. I think this is. I do think this is a very good game.
Yeah, I think this is a very good game. I think it is different enough. I mean, I remember after Paladins, you said
after Architects, you mean?
Architects. After our Architects playthrough, and the final thoughts of that, I think you said something like.
I know what you're gonna say
about the player interaction.
Yeah. No. I don't. So what I said was I wasn't sure how I felt about the attacking each other, but then I realized kind of the thing I always complain about in workplace games is not enough player interactions. No, I've come to really like that about Architects.
That's cool. Yeah.
It grew on me hugely, and that's kind of almost its USP in a way. And then the USP in this, I suppose, it's not unique actually, because as I said, Anaki does it. But my favorite thing about this game is the different worker type classes. I think I really like that.
And I like a lot.
It creates a great deal of puzzle.
Yeah.
creates a lot of the puzzles.
And the criminals, I really like the criminals. You know, taking them,
Yeah.
getting the suspicion card. It's like, I'm getting a bonus and another bonus, but it could come back and really hurt me. And if I don't deal with this stuff, I need to think about how to deal with this stuff, or else I'm going to be in trouble. You know, but if I do deal with it, I get another bonus. You know, so I really like how those mechanics work together to sort of create this really sort of interesting, like, sort of set of puzzles that you have to sort of deal with one at a time, you know?
Yeah, I think the whole they've done they've essentially just done another worker placement game, but in the same world.
But it feels very distinct.
It's incredibly different, and distinct, because this is created by the combination of you can choose your own workers and some buffs and a power, and then you draft more workers, which is in a player interactive way. This is free choice. That's player interactive way, and then you have other ways to mitigate. Then you've got the thing like the workshops and stuff to mitigate what if you've got the right color, the wrong. You've got the criminals, and then you've also got. And then the other side of it is, do you have enough of the relevant attribute to do what you want to do? And again, the Paladins help with that, as well as giving you work. And I just think that all that stuff of having the right. Do you have the right color worker? Do you have the right attributes? And then all the various tools they give you to get the right attributes, be it temporarily or permanently, to get the right workers this round. Just there's a lot going on in that sphere, and I just think it comes together to make a really, really nice puzzle.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the way they lay out the information of you need this, you get this, you need this, you get this, makes it very easy to assimilate that information on the fly, and counterintuitively what I was complaining about with lots of AP, kind of keeps it moving in your own. You keep your own play moving, so to speak. You're constantly able to. The information is easily accessible to you, so you can keep your thought process going, even if it's very slow. Overall, the information for you is easily accessible, if that makes sense. And that's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Like Chris says, I don't think it's an expensive. I'd have no qualms in paying £35 for it.
But is it worth it for you?
But I don't know if I would buy it.
Yeah,
No, that's because I haven't. Yeah,
that's the difference.
Well, true. But
no, this is what I was saying.
I think
it's value you put on it.
It's too. It depends. I just don't know who I'd play it with. It's too meaty.
Oh, really?
And I don't know.
Too meaty for your group.
Yeah. It's a little bit daunting to try and.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this would be a good sort of, like, if you were with a group who is definitely not prepared for this level of complexity, it would be a good escalation point from architects. You know, if you got architects first and everyone sort of got comfortable with that, and they're like, what's the next step? You could be like, well, why don't we try this?
As I said, I enjoy architects more, so I don't know why I'd. It seems a silly thing to say at the same time, though. Why do I have more than one worker placement game?
I was going to say, to your point, it's like, if, why have more than one game?
Yeah, exactly. This is my favourite game. I only play this. But yeah, I'm very excited about Viscounts. That looks really good.
What about Tome Saga?
Yeah, that's a good point. There you go. Actually, I'm very interested in the idea of playing all three of them back to back.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a good point. Yeah.
Without,
So I will hang on to Paladins.
Yeah. I think I've mentioned everything I want to say. How about you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
very excited for Tome Saga.
Shem, we could really use just a little bit of iconography on the tax, maybe like a little T in the middle or something. That'd be great.
Oh yes, that's
just a small note.
That'd be very helpful for me. Also, the purple and blue are too similar on the tavern cards. Far too similar. They're fine in the meeples, but for some reason on the cards I can't tell very easily.
Fortunately, if you put out the meeples, it does help.
That does help. If you pass it to me,
this.
Well, no, that one there, please. The one over there. No, other one. There you go. That's the one. I can. Yeah, when I'm looking at it, Ooh, okay. It's not actually. It's more obvious, but that's actually not that easy. Yeah.
Well, the other thing I would say about this and Architects, actually, this has. And this is just more of a general point about this. The setup time is a bit of a pain. It's
laying out all the monks and the garrisons is really.
I mean, it's the same kind of problem that you're going to get in Hansa, and you're going to get in Orleans, and you're going to get in Terra Mystica as well. So
it's a bit worse because there's a greater number of different things. Like in Hans, it's just basically some cubes and some circles, isn't it? Whereas in this, you've got jars, garrisons, monks, and workshops.
Yeah, so the setup time in this is quite high, whereas in Architects it's very quick.
Yeah.
Just dump out all the players on the board and you're good to go.
Oh, I never said. I really like being able to put one at the top and one at the bottom. That's cool.
The Paladin selection thing is cool, but also counterpoint, collecting in the meeples at the end of each round and then redistributing them is a pain.
Yeah.
It's a pain, a bit of admin to do 7 times.
I don't know what they can do about that.
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to use this kind of meeple mechanic, then...
I mean, it's a bit like the AP complaint, isn't it? Is it the designer's fault? A lot of people say no. I say yes. But it's not their fault in, like, if you want to make a deep game, you gotta do that, right? It's their fault, but it's also their success because they made a deep game. Well, it depends though, doesn't it? Because sometimes AP is because the game's badly designed, and sometimes it's because it's
I think
well designed.
This does the best it can to mitigate the AP that comes into it.
Yeah, no, I think this is overall, as we even said about the iconography and stuff, it's mostly done really well. Any little slip-ups they've made, like this not being, this being used in knock, or the this not having a plus or whatever, it's not from lack of effort or lack of skill or ability. It's just little human errors that probably could be improved, and hopefully they will. I think overall they put a lot of work into it and did really well.
There you have it. So, another fine review from Ready Study Play. Thank you for coming on this Paladins of the West Kingdom journey with us. I hope you've enjoyed the series and following along with our endeavours. I hope you've learned that all strategies are viable and that you could do whatever you want, so long as you follow the rules.
Yep. And it's worth noting, actually, the only person didn't get all the King's Orders done, and you won.
It's true, the King's Orders are optional.
Yeah. That's actually, before we go, that is actually worth highlighting and making say that's really good, actually.
In both games that I've won of this, I have not completed all 3 King's Orders.
Yeah, I think that's really good, because it's a bit like, remember in my Architects when I basically didn't hire any apprentices. I had 1 apprentice in the whole game, and I was like, oh, this is bad, I haven't made an engine at all, and I managed to win it. And I was really pleased that it was possible to win while ignoring something so important in the game. And I think that the fact they've achieved that again is a real testament to their ability to design a multiple path style of play, to victory style of play.
Well said. And with that, we're going.
They did good.
Hooray, another successful video, another successful game. And we'll see you all in the next adventure, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Which will not be VCons.
Well, not yet.
But we'll play it soon, hopefully, when they arrive.
And it arrives.
And then we'll do all 3 in Tome Saga.
Oh my god, can you imagine?
I'd love that.
We'll make that a funding goal on the Patreon.
That would actually be a good funding goal.
Like, it'll have to be a live stream, though.
Yeah.
Like a 12-hour live stream.
It probably would, wouldn't it?